Well, I think, Sticky Bits, which was the project that Billy and Seth first started on, it just ran out of gas. I mean, it just didn't have any legs. Odeo, which was the company that Twitter came out of, kind of was the same thing. I mean, Apple came out with podcasting in iTunes, and the whole reason that Odeo existed kind of ceased to exist, and they were like, man, we're screwed, what are we going to do? So in those situations, in both those situations, I think it was very clear that the thing that they had been working on was just not going to work. In the case of somebody like Alex Iskol, each thing he was doing worked a little better than the thing before. It wasn't, Adaptive Blue, the thing we first invested in, I think had 100,000 users. It wasn't like nobody was using it. It just couldn't get to 1 million users. So I think a lot of this is more art than science. I think people just have to, step out of it. It's something you got to step out of it a little bit and look at it from, and I think investors actually can help, and friends and colleagues and such. Not colleagues inside your startup as much, but colleagues outside your startup. If everybody starts telling you, doesn't feel like it's working, then it's probably not working.
Well, you wrote that. You wrote early on, be hunch-driven,
Right.
later on, be data-driven.
Right. Well, I actually meant that in a different context, which is, if somebody came to me and said, I've built this product because I've done a lot of research and got all this data that suggests that this is the right feature set that will cause the market to adopt my product, I wouldn't invest. If someone said to me, I had this feeling about this for a long time and I really wanted to build something that would do this, and I have a hunch that the market really wants it, I'd be much more excited about that. Those are the kind of hunches. The turntable, Billy just kind of dreamed it up one night and coded it up, and there it was. That's a hunch turned into a product. What I meant by that is that the first release of a product, for sure, should be largely hunch-driven. And then as you start to iterate on the product, you want to get more and more data-driven. And I think that's a gradual thing. You want your hunch instincts to kind of go like this, and you want your data instincts to kind of go like this. There's no point. It's not like a step function. But at some point where Facebook is today, where Twitter is today, most of the product innovation they do, not all, but most of the product innovation they do is coming from rich data that they have about how people are using the product.